Picture a single blue £5 note folded once, tucked into a cardigan pocket. In 1975, that one note could feed a family for days, fill a car with petrol, and still leave change for the pictures. Today, it barely covers a meal deal. Number 9 on this list will make anyone under 40 genuinely angry. And number 3 sounds so impossible that the comments will accuse us of making it up. We checked. It is real. Britain in 1975 was a country of strikes and runaway inflation, yet a fiver still carried power that a £50 note can only dream of now. Hit subscribe because these prices are about to hurt. Let us count down the 25 things £5 could buy in 1975 Britain. Number 25. 70 first-class stamps. In 1975, a first-class stamp cost just 7 pence, and that fiver bought you 70 of them with a penny left over. Think about what that actually meant. 70 letters. Birthday cards to every aunt in the family. A note to your pen pal in Australia. The football pool's coupon posted every single Thursday without fail. The post came twice a day in most towns, and a letter posted in Manchester on Monday morning could be on a doormat in Cornwall by Tuesday. People wrote constantly because it was practically free. Your nan kept a book of stamps in the kitchen drawer next to the string and the spare fuses, and it lasted her months. Today, 70 first-class stamps would set you back well over £100. We stopped writing letters, and looking at those prices, you can hardly blame us. Number 24. 100 daily newspapers. The Daily Mirror cost 5 pence in 1975, which means £5 bought 100 copies. That is a newspaper every single day for more than 3 months. And this was not a luxury. It was the rhythm of British life. The paperboy on his bike at 6:30, the thud on the doormat, your dad reading the back pages over his cornflakes while your mum did the crossword in the evening. Nearly every household took a daily paper, and plenty took 2. One for the news and one for the racing. The paper shop on the corner knew every family's order by heart, written in a ledger with a pencil on a string. 1 fiver, 100 mornings of news. Try getting 3 months of anything for £5 now. Number 23. 70 pints of milk on the doorstep. A pint of milk delivered to your door cost around 7 pence in 1975. So £5 covered 70 pints, more than 2 months of milk for a small household, delivered before you even woke up. The milkman was as reliable as sunrise. The electric float humming down the street at dawn, the chink of glass bottles in the crate, the gold top with the cream settled thick at the neck. Kids fought over who got the cream on their cereal. Blue tits learned to peck through the foil caps, and every street had its theory about how to stop them. You paid the milkman on a Friday evening, coins counted into his leather satchel on the doorstep. 70 pints for a fiver. The supermarket killed the float, and something quietly British died with it. Number 22. 90 bars of chocolate. A standard bar of Cadbury Dairy Milk cost around 5 or 6 pence in 1975, meaning your £5 note bought roughly 90 bars of chocolate. 90. A child with a fiver in 1975 was, for all practical purposes, a millionaire. The sweet shop counter was a wall of temptation. Curly whirlies at 6 pence, Milky Ways, flakes, and jars of rhubarb and custards weighed out into little white paper bags at 2 pence an ounce. Pocket money of 10 pence on a Saturday meant genuine, agonizing decisions. Here is the sting. Chocolate has not just gone up with inflation, it has gone up faster while the bars quietly shrank. Your granddad's dairy milk was chunkier than yours, and he paid the equivalent of pennies for it. No wonder that generation never quite trusts a modern chocolate bar. Number 21. 33 loaves of bread. A standard white loaf cost about 15 pence in 1975, so a fiver bought 33 of them, enough bread to keep an average family in toast, sandwiches and bread and butter pudding for the best part of 2 months. And bread mattered in a way it simply does not now. Doorstep slices under baked beans, bread and dripping for supper in some houses still, the heel of the loaf fought over or rejected depending on the family. The bakery van still called in plenty of villages, and the smell of a fresh split tin was the smell of the high street itself. When bread prices jumped during the 70s inflation crisis, it made front-page news and genuine public anger because everyone felt it. 33 loaves for a fiver. Today, that money buys you 3, maybe 4 if you are lucky with the offers. Number 20. 60 cups of tea at the local cafe. A mug of tea in a proper British cafe, all steamed up windows and red sauce bottles, cost around 8 pence in 1975. £5 meant 60 cups, 2 months of daily tea breaks with money to spare. The cafe was an institution. Lorry drivers, market traders and pensioners all crammed onto formica tables. The tea poured strong and orange from a metal pot that had seen decades of service. Sugar spooned from a communal bowl. For a few pence more, you added a slice of toast, thick with margarine. Nobody lingered over a laptop. You drank your tea, read the paper, argued about the football, and left. A takeaway coffee today costs more than an entire week of 1975 tea breaks. Somewhere along the way, we agreed to that, and nobody can quite remember when. Number 19. 100 bus rides. Local bus fares in the mid-70s started at around 5 pence for a short hop, meaning a £5 note could, in theory, buy you 100 journeys. 100. The bus was how Britain moved. Double-deckers with conductors still on many routes, swinging down the aisle with a ticket machine on a leather strap, calling out stops from memory. Kids upstairs at the front pretending to drive. The last bus home on a Saturday night, packed and singing. Your nan went to town on the bus, to the market on the bus, to visit her sister 2 towns over on the bus. And the fares were so small she paid from the loose change in her purse without ever thinking about it. Today, a single fare in some cities costs more than 20 1975 journeys. The freedom of that is hard to overstate. Number 18, and here is where your stomach starts to notice. 16 fish and chip suppers. In 1975, cod and chips from the local chippy cost around 30 pence, wrapped in yesterday's newspaper, salt and vinegar soaking through the print. £5 bought 16 suppers. 4 months of Friday nights for one person, or a full fish supper for a family of 5 with change rattling in your pocket on the walk home. The chippy queue on a Friday was a social event in itself. Out the door and down the pavement. The hiss of the fryers, the smell drifting 3 streets away. Scraps were free if you asked nicely, and every child did. Here is the part that hurts. Fish and chips has risen faster than almost any other British staple, driven by cod prices, energy costs, and cooking oil. That 30 pence supper now costs north of £10 in plenty of towns. Our national dish quietly became a luxury and nobody held a vote. Number 17. 20 pints of bitter. A pint of bitter in the public bar cost about 25 pence in 1975, which means a £5 note bought a full round of 20 pints. 20. You could take 4 mates to the pub, drink all evening, and still have money for the chip shop on the way home. And the pub was the centre of everything. The public bar with its darts board and dominoes, the lounge for best, the landlord who knew your name, your usual, and your father. Beer was so affordable that the working man's pint after a shift was simply part of the wage, factored into life like bus fares and baccy. Today, a single pint in London costs more than that entire 1975 round of 20. Say that out loud in any pub over 60 and watch the room nod in grim agreement. Number 16. 11 packets of cigarettes. Whatever you think of smoking now, in 1975 it was simply the air Britain breathed. A packet of 20 cost around 45 pence, so a fiver bought 11 packs, more than 200 cigarettes. Nearly half of all adults smoked. There were ashtrays on buses, in cinemas, in hospital waiting rooms, on the arms of chairs in your nan's front room, little cut glass ones brought out for visitors. The tobacconist was a fixture of every parade of shops, and cigarette advertising was plastered across football grounds and motor racing cars. This entry is not nostalgia for the habit. It is a measure of how completely taxation changed one price. Those 11 packets would cost you over £170 today, the single most dramatic price increase on this entire list. Nothing else even comes close. Number 15. 6 trips to the pictures. A cinema ticket in 1975 cost around 75 pence, so £5 bought 6 visits with change for a chalk ice. And what a year to be going. 1975 gave Britain Jaws, the film that emptied the beaches and packed the stalls. plus Monty Python and the Holy Grail and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The cinema experience was different too. An usherette with a torch showed you to your seat, a tray of Kia Ora and ice creams appeared at the interval, and in many cinemas you got a B-film and the news before the main feature. Some picture houses still let you sit through the program twice on one ticket. 6 evenings of full-blown escapism for a £5. A single ticket with popcorn today costs more than the lot, and you have to find your own seat. Number 14. 7 vinyl singles. A 7-inch single cost around 65 pence in 1975, so a £5 bought 7 records, and late that year one of them could have been Bohemian Rhapsody, bought the week it came out. Think about that. The record shop on a Saturday, flicking through the racks, the listening booth if you were lucky, the paper bag with the shop's name printed on it. 1975 also gave us Sailing by Rod Stewart and Bye Bye Baby by the Bay City Rollers, when tartan-clad Rollermania had schoolgirls fainting in the aisles. Singles were pocket money purchases, played until the grooves wore grey, stacked on the Dansette spindle at birthday parties. 7 slices of history for £5. Original pressings of some 1975 singles now sell for many times that to collectors, which means the kids who spent their £5 wisely were accidentally investing. Number 13. A month of school dinners. In 1975, a school dinner cost 15 pence a day, so £5 covered 33 of them, very nearly 7 full weeks of hot midday meals for one child. And say what you like about the food, it was a proper cooked dinner every single day. Mince and mash, toad in the hole, liver whether you wanted it or not, and puddings that live in the national memory. Jam roly-poly, cornflake tart, pink custard that nobody has ever fully explained. Dinner ladies ruled the hall with absolute authority, and you ate what you were given, or you sat there until you did. Dinner money was handed over on Monday morning in an envelope. Coins counted out by mums at the kitchen table on Sunday night. 7 weeks of hot dinners for a £5. That sentence alone explains why your grandparents look at modern lunch prices with open disbelief. Number 12. Now here is where things get properly interesting, because this next one changed how Britain moved. Nearly 7 gallons of petrol. In 1975, petrol cost around 72 pence a gallon, which sounds quaint until you remember 1975 was the year everyone was furious about it, because the oil crisis had nearly doubled the price in 2 years. Even so, £5 bought almost 7 gallons, roughly 30 litres, enough to brim the tank of a Mini and drive from London to Newcastle with fuel to spare. The forecourt itself was another world. An attendant filled the tank for you, checked your oil, and gave you green shield stamps with your change, which your mum stuck into books towards a new toaster. Here is the twist. Adjusted for inflation, petrol is not actually much dearer today than it was in that crisis year. The difference is everything else got dearer around it. In 1975, the petrol was the thing people were angry about. Imagine that. Number 11. 5 Saturday afternoons at the football. Standing on the terraces at a First Division match cost around £1 in 1975, often less at smaller clubs, so a £5 bought 5 Saturdays watching the likes of Kevin Keegan's Liverpool, who were about to begin their era of dominance, or Derby County, champions that very year. 5 afternoons of swaying terraces, Bovril at half-time, a programme for 10 pence, and the roar of a packed ground. Fathers took sons through the turnstiles from the age of 6 or 7, passed down like a religion, and a man on ordinary wages could watch his team every single home game without thinking twice. Today, a single Premier League ticket at some grounds costs more than the whole 1975 season would have. The game got faster, richer, and shinier. Whether it got better depends entirely on which decade you ask. Number 10. 10 haircuts. A gentleman's trim at the local barber cost around 50 pence in 1975, so £5 bought 10 of them, nearly a full year of respectability. The barber shop was a proper institution. The striped pole outside, the row of waiting men reading the racing pages, the hot lather and the cutthroat razor around the ears, the ritual question of something for the weekend, sir. Boys sat on a plank laid across the chair arms and left looking like their fathers, whether they liked it or not, because in 1975 the barber cut what your dad told him to cut, and feathered curtains were earned, not requested. 10 haircuts for a fiver. A single cut in a fashionable spot today can cost 5 times that entire year, which might explain the quiet popularity of the clippers in the bathroom cabinet. Number 9. 170 eggs. This is the one that makes people angry. A dozen eggs cost around 35 pence in 1975, which means £5 bought 14 dozen, 170 eggs with change. That is an egg every single morning for nearly 6 months. Eggs were the backbone of the British kitchen, boiled with soldiers for the kids, fried on a Saturday with the full works, whipped into Victoria sponges and Yorkshire pudding batter. The Eggman delivered to plenty of doorsteps, trays of them, and the Egg Marketing Board's little lion stamp was on every shell. Go to work on an egg, the adverts said. And Britain did. After the price shocks of recent years, that same fiver buys you perhaps 2 dozen today. Your grandmother could bake all week on what we now spend on a single box. She knew it too, which is why she never wasted so much as a cracked one. Number 8. A £5 Sunday roast, and we mean the whole thing. In 1975, beef topside cost around £1 per pound in weight, so a fiver stretched to a proper joint, a sack of potatoes, carrots, a swede, and the makings of a crumble for afters. 1 note, 1 feast, and enough cold meat left over for Monday's sandwiches and Tuesday's rissoles, because a 1975 joint was never 1 meal, it was 3. The ritual was sacred. The joint in the oven before church or the allotment, the smell filling the house by noon, Dad carving at the table with the good knife, the argument over crispy roast potatoes settled by seniority. The Sunday roast was the anchor of the entire British week, and 1 £5 note paid for all of it. Today, the beef alone would swallow £25 before you have peeled a single spud. Number 7. A full-blown Woolworths spree. Hand a child £5 outside Woolworths in 1975, and you would not see them for hours. The pick and mix counter, weighed into paper bags at pennies an ounce. A 7-inch single from the chart wall. An Airfix Spitfire kit for around 30 pence, a Matchbox car for 15, a Ladybird book for 24 pence, and still change jangling for a sherbet fountain and a comic. Woolies was the everything shop, the anchor of every British high street, where you bought your records, your school socks, your Christmas decorations, and your broken biscuits by the bag. A fiver in there was not a purchase. It was an expedition. The store that sold Britain its small pleasures for a century could not survive the modern world, and when it went in 2008, every town lost the same shop at the same time. No £5 note has felt as powerful anywhere since. Number 6. And this is the entry that stops people in their tracks. A week's council house rent. In 1975, the average council rent was around £5 a week, give or take, depending on where you lived. 1 £5 note. A roof over a family's head for 7 days. A 3-bedroom council house with a garden front and back, on an estate built to last, for the price of what is now a supermarket sandwich and a drink. A third of British families lived in council housing then, and it was not a last resort, it was ordinary life. Nurses, bus drivers, teachers and factory workers all raised families in those houses, and the rent man called weekly, ticking the book on the doorstep. Compare that to average rents today, pushing well past £1,000 a month in much of the country, and you begin to understand why housing is the sorest subject in Britain. This is not nostalgia, this is arithmetic. Number 5. A party in a tin with change. The Watney's Party 7, that legendary giant tin holding 7 pints of Red Barrel bitter, cost around £1.20 in 1975. So £5 bought the Party 7, a bottle of Blue Nun for the ladies, a stack of Twiglets and cheese footballs, and cheese and pineapple on sticks jammed into half a grapefruit, the undisputed centerpiece of 70s entertaining. The Party 7 was an engineering challenge as much as a beverage. Opening one without spraying the ceiling required 2 holes, a steady hand and a prayer, and every party had a story about the time somebody got it wrong. Nobody pretends the beer was good, that is not the point. The point is that an entire evening's hospitality for a house full of neighbours cost 1 £5 note, and the neighbours actually came because in 1975 you knew them. Number 4. Dinner for two at a Burney Inn with wine. The Burney Inn was where 70s Britain went to feel posh, and the famous steak dinner, rump steak, chips, peas, a grilled tomato, and a roll with butter, cost around £1.50 a head. £5 covered dinner for two, a glass of sherry to start, a carafe of wine, and a Black Forest Gâteau to finish, still leaving a tip for the waiter in the burgundy waistcoat. This was the big night out. Anniversaries, birthdays, the meal that followed a proposal. Dark wood, red velvet, candles in bottles, and prawn cocktails served in a wine glass with brown bread and butter. The single most glamorous dish in the country. It is easy to laugh now, but an ordinary couple on ordinary wages could dress up and dine out for a £5, all in. That same evening today runs past £100, and the gâteau is rarely as good. Number 3. A day trip to the seaside for the whole family. This is the one nobody believes, so here are the numbers. A day return from London to Brighton cost around £2 in 1975, with children at half fare. A family of 4 could get to the coast for roughly £5, and that is the entire outing on one note. And what a day it bought. Deck chairs at 10 pence, a stroll down the pier for pennies, fish and chips on the front, a stick of rock for each child, and donkey rides on the sand. The great British seaside was in its final golden age. The proms still packed every summer weekend, the illuminations, the amusement arcades with their penny falls, one blue £5, one full day of memories, 4 people. Today, the train fare alone for that family would cost 10 times the note before a single chip is eaten, and we wonder why everyone flew to Spain. Number 2. Christmas dinner, the whole table. In 1975, a family-sized turkey cost around £3, and the remaining £2 covered potatoes, sprouts, parsnips, stuffing, a Christmas pudding, and a box of dates that nobody ever actually finished. One £5 note bought the centrepiece meal of the entire British year. Mums planned it for weeks, ordering the bird from the butcher in November, hiding the selection boxes on top of the wardrobe. The turkey went in at dawn, the kitchen windows streamed with steam, and 13 people somehow ate at a table built for 6, with the kids on the piano stool and a deck chair. The pudding came in flaming, with a sixpence hidden inside from an even older Briton. Every scrap was used: turkey sandwiches, turkey curry, turkey soup from the carcass, and rightly so. £5 for Christmas dinner. Today, the turkey alone will not leave you change from 30. And finally, number 1. A full week's food shop for a family. Here it is, the big one. In 1975, the average British household spent roughly £5 a week feeding itself. One note, one trolley, 1 week. Meat for every day, potatoes by the half stone, bread, milk, eggs, butter, tea, sugar, cornflakes, biscuits for the tin, and something nice for Sunday. Your mum did it with a shopping list on the back of an envelope, a purse full of change, and a wicker basket, moving from butcher to greengrocer to grocer down the same stretch of high street, where every shopkeeper knew her name and her order. Nothing was wasted, everything was planned, and the entire operation ran on the equivalent of one modern meal deal per day for a whole family. That is not a misprint. That is how far a £5 went. And once you know it, you never look at your supermarket receipt the same way again. So there it is, one blue £5 note, and 25 reasons your grandparents shake their heads at the till. Yes, wages were lower, around £55 a week on average, but the arithmetic still lands heavily, especially on rent, football, and fish and chips. Now it is your turn. Ask the oldest person in your family what they remember buying with a £5 in 1975, and put their answer in the comments, because those memories are worth more than the note ever was. If this list made you wince, share it with someone who remembers Decimal Day, and subscribe, because next time we are finding out what a single pound bought in 1965. You are not ready for that one.